Okay. So my name is Phillip Lanos, and I've partnered up with Strategic Advisor Board to hook you up with all the latest tips and tricks for personal branding. What I want to go over today is, in particular, something related to how it is you structure and develop your content calendar and your content development across the board, whether we're talking writing books, giving public speaking talks, all of that really can be centered around your personal brand. And it should be. If you're just writing books on expertise, but it's not related to this overarching strategy related to your personal brand, or giving talks at random, seeing what fits best, that's the wrong way of going about it. It's a way of going about it. And I'm not going to say that my way is the right way, but doing something on the fly per se doesn't usually bring deep results, the kind of impact that people want, and the kind of connection to who you are and what you're doing with your personal brand online. Right. So I want to go over something that I've been working on for a while now with one of my clients, Joe Applebaum. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So what I want to show you is exactly what we've been doing. I developed, along with Joe, in many of our workshops, a list of words. Now, this framework of using brand words in particular is something I myself have essentially developed, right? And obviously, it comes with a dashboard, and the dashboard will show sort of the themes of each quarter for the year, right? And each one of these themes really means something to Joe's personal brand. And themes can be for him in particular, were like meaning and perspectives, his attitude and aspirations in life, his skills and mindset, and how many videos we have available for each of these things. We've got about 10 videos with attitude and aspirations, 7 with skills and mindset. And then we're building out social post videos. What's going in for what? So, for example, month 3 of Q3, we're talking about want results, focus on consistent action, results will follow. Right? Those are quotes that are related to the content that he's developed. Ideas without actions are worthless. Yet ideas are what inspire action. So you can see, but all this really centers and develops from your choice of words related to your personal brand. For example, for Joe, it was purpose, fun, energy, inspiration, frustration, and love. What happens to Joe? How does he respond to the idea of frustration? What questions, if you look at column E, what questions does he ask? Why do some things put me in a state of frustration? Now, that's a question that he asks, and he believes in his personal brand that whoever his audience is that might be connecting with him would have the same question. So now he's going to work to develop content around it, to aggregate. See, to aggregate content. The person with a personal brand is essentially someone who took the time to figure it out, to think it through. So, for example, with frustration, Joe has taken the time to think it through, the idea of frustration as a whole as it relates to who he is as an individual and as a professional. It's about his attitude and aspirations in life. This little drop down here are all those themes that we were talking about. Categories is another way of looking at this, is more like life advice as opposed to marketing advice, right? And in particular, because you can't have an attitude and aspiration about marketing. It's just not the same thing as your attitude and aspiration for life in general. And your personal brand can't be more than just your business vertical. So, in fact, I hope it is. That will make it multifaceted, multidimensional. And that's important. But this worksheet that I've developed here with a few of my clients now actually has the opportunity to, once we focus on the anchor point, which are brand words, purpose, fun, energy, inspiration, frustration, then we can move forward over to what it looks like when we're talking about writing an article title, related to that word, right? And the more words we have, the more articles we can use to develop the overall picture. Recording videos where you speak at length about the issue, uploading images that may be related, that you took a photo of, that you're in, that could be related to that, right? The idea of how you found, how, for example, let's look at purpose, right? For Joe, with brand words, purpose, we're talking about right here, story, how he found his purpose working with his coach, David. That's a story. And now story is cool because if you collect a bunch of stories related to your personal brand, these stories can be used for a number of things, books, but they could also be used for public speaking engagements, coming back to my point earlier. So choosing your brand words is very powerful. If I were to give you an actionable step post video, it's for you to take the time. You don't need to start off with a spreadsheet. Look, if you're interested in something like this, leave a comment. Let me know that this is something you're interested in. There should be some info below as well to help you get in touch with Strategic Advisor Board or myself. But right here, this particular brand word purpose and this particular structure is something that you yourself can start to flesh out, like purpose or fun or energy. Just write a list. Just write a list of all the words you think are related to you, to end your work and what it is that you do, and put them together. And now start thinking of what kind of content you can create around it, whether it's for videos, whether it's for photos that sort of imply or symbolize that. There really is the ability to do that. Now, this may require for you to tap into your talent in your team pool, but that's all depending on your own skill set, right? You might have a designer who can whip up an image with your likeness that can sort of put together put forward the idea of purpose, whether it's you holding an arrow, a bow and arrow, I should say, letting it go, whatever that might be. That's very possible. So suffice it to say that it's worth looking at, because it is one of those things where if done right, you can really get some traction with the development of your content. And we can even talk about, let's talk about talking points, for example. Talking points aren't necessarily the same as stories. What do I mean by that? The story of how, for example, Joe had developed his or found his purpose with his coach, David. A talking point of that isn't the story, because the story is the beginning, middle, end. I started off with no purpose. As we got into it and began doing exercises, I really found myself developing something. In the end, I had a purpose, right? That's a story. But talking points, right? These are like events that took place in the story, or talking points in general related to purpose, not necessarily a story, but just talking points related to purpose. I not only found my purpose working with my coach, David, but I also began to get hints of how my purpose was manifesting itself in the world as I began to interact with my children or with my employees. And I began to see it crystal clear. You see, those are talking points. How I see my purpose related to my employees, how I see my purpose related to my children. You get the message? But you can do this for everything. You can even, right here with column Q, you can make it a point to try to get yourself on a podcast related to purpose and what it all means. And now you have that added to your overall body of work and content, your personal brand. And that's what this document here is really helping to do. So if this is something that you want to do for yourself, you can just have somebody help you build one in a spreadsheet. I recommend that. You can use other tools like a Notion or a Trello, what have you. But the, easiest, freest way to do it and easiest way to share on Google, everybody has a Gmail account, right? And a spreadsheet isn't that hard to cook up. Or you can work with me and I'll make sure I take care of you. Regardless, the point is you need to have a place where you're mapping out what your personal brand universe looks like, what the ecosystem looks like. This is very powerful stuff. So if this was valuable to you, please let me know that it was. I'm not just looking for people who may be looking to work with me. I'm also looking to give value and push you in the right direction regardless. That was that was the deal with Strategic Advisor Board when I joined up with them to put these videos together. So I hope this was useful. And if so, let me know below. There should also be information on how to get a hold of me or Strategic Advisor Board to keep pushing the agenda forward on us working together. Regardless, even any feedback, like what you wish I would have gone deeper on, will help me continue to make content to deliver value to you and make sure that you don't have to pay for necessarily advice. But work is work. And that's one thing that I remember my friend Andre told me when I was first starting out. I want to say maybe 7, 8 years ago. I was doing a lot of this stuff, and he told me, no, you don't have to keep doing a lot of this because advice is cool and that can be free, but work is work, right? So building something like this out, that's work, especially between us, right? But pointing you in the right direction, I don't think anyone should charge you for that. That's what a 10, 12, 15-minute video is for. At any rate, thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe to this channel if you're feeling it, because Strategic Advisor Board is a beautiful community of business owners and executives really continuing to deliver value. I also urge you to check out the podcast that I host with Jason Miller, who heads up the Strategic Advisor Board group. And our podcast is called The War Room Roundtable, where we interview, I think we're now up to 400 conversations in about 5 months. It's really something special. And we deliver incredible value and get down and dirty on the real deal of what it really took to get that business off the ground. So otherwise, feel free to connect with me anywhere on social media at Phillip Lanos. You can go to philliplanos.com. That's PHILLIPLANOS.com to learn more about what it is I'm working on, what I'm doing. And I want you to know I'm very approachable, including on LinkedIn. So don't hesitate to connect with me. All right. Thanks for stopping by.